Hey, Glovelies, and welcome back to Glove Actually. I'm Courtney.
I'm Hallie.
And I'm Melissa.
And this week we have lots to talk about. Later, we will be joined by our bestie, Megan, who you might know better as the host of the Middle podcast. She was gracious enough to have us on earlier this season. And now we are returning the favor, and we are so excited to talk about the middle of the MLB season with the host of the Middle podcast, since this week marks the All-Star break and the official midway point in the season. But as always, if there's anything you want us to talk about here on the podcast, be sure to leave it in the comments, and be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to the Glove Actually podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to turn on those post notifications to stay in the loop when we post new episodes every Wednesday. All right, Glovelies, we are going to kick things off as always with our Pookies of the week. Melissa, who's your Pookie of the week this week?
It's been a busy week for me. I have two. First is going to be Connor Griffin, because I was at the Nats game the other day when he had not one, but two amazing catches. I mean, he was all over the field. It's like he's freaking Superman and just flew to catch that ball. I was very impressed. I was already impressed with Connor Griffin as it was, but after those catches, super impressed. Unfortunately, I think one of them put him on the IL for the next month, but
yes,
yeah,
he did.
And you can tell when he came off the field too, like they were checking out his hand. So bummer, but sweet catches, Connor. I was impressed. And then my other one is going to be a repeat for me, but it's Gunnar Henderson, who I got to meet last night at Jimmy's Seafood Meet the Birds event. He's super nice, super respectful. Mrs. Henderson, you did a good job raising your son. He's very polite. I just told everybody that it actually haunts me how many times he called me ma'am last night in the short amount of time that I talked to him. I didn't think that I was that old to be called ma'am, but he's very respectful. So you did a great job. And have a great All-Star break hanging out with Kowser, Gunnar, because that's what he told us last night. He's hanging out with Kowser over the All-Star break.
Nice. How many Lego sets do you think they're going to complete?
2 a day.
I bet you it's Star
At
Wars
least.
ones.
For
If
sure.
it's the big Star Wars ones, maybe like 2 over the entire break.
They probably, I was going to say, Kowser probably has some of the new Pokemon ones too. So
Apparently, Kowser's big on collecting Pokemon cards. I learned that last night too. Yes. So it was very fun, very interesting. It was a learning experience, educational evening, if I may.
Every day's a school day.
Every day.
Hallie, who's your Pookie of the week this week?
My Pookie this week is Naomi Osaka, because I am still thinking about her Wimbledon Day 1 outfit that she wore onto the court. She wore an all-white kimono-inspired situation, and it was so, so gorgeous. She looks amazing in every outfit she has ever worn. Naomi, thank you for raising the bar for everyone at all times.
Period. My Pookie this week is going to be the first person who was announced for the 2026 Home Run Derby, and that is Tampa Bay Rays third baseman Junior Caminero, who is batting .284 and has 26 home runs on the season. He is going on an absolute tear. I think he has homered in like 10 or 11 straight games. He's absolutely dominating right now. I'm so happy to see that he was selected for the All-Star game again. The fact that he was the first person announced for the Home Run Derby made me so happy. And I am just so excited to actually see how he's going to perform. I think he's such a dynamic player. He's so fun to watch. Every time we're down at the Trop, he's always a delight. So for those reasons and many others, not just your 26 home runs and your 56 RBIs, but for many others, Junior Caminero, you are my Pookie of the week this week. Good luck in the Derby. All right, Glovelies, we want to hear from you. Who is your Pookie of the week this week? Be sure to let us know in the comments and tag your Pookie if you can. All right, Glovelies. Well, like I said earlier today, we are going to be joined by our bestie, Megan Ranville, celebrating the middle of the 2026 MLB season. She is the host of the Middle podcast. Welcome to the pod, Megan.
Yay. Thank you, ladies. Good to see you again.
It's so lovely to be with you again. Thank you so much for being here. So, Megan, as I mentioned before, we are at the halfway point in the 2026 season. So we're going to break down what's gone on so far, and then Hallie's going to give you a rapid fire quiz, and then we're going to get your hot takes on some special top 5 categories for this week. Does that sound good to you?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. So first things first, we've got to know, who is your Pookie of the week this week?
So I, at the risk of not bringing it down because it is positive, but my my Pookie of the week. So for the audience that doesn't know, I live in Colorado and we have just been on fire. Literally, we have a major wildfire right south of us called the Aspen Acres fire that unfortunately has been doing a lot of damage. I think it's now up to the 6th or 7th largest fire Colorado has ever had. And we just got a huge amount of support from California. They've sent a whole backup of just support to help battle that fire. So my Pookies of the week are all of the firefighters that are out here fighting our wildfires and trying to keep the state of Colorado from really burning down. I live in the Rockies backyard, so the Rockies aren't burning anything down this season, but that's okay. We knew that was going to happen, so I'm glad for the folks that are here from California. So that is my Pookie of the week. Not to bring us down because they're doing very, very good work.
Awesome. Well, I was going to say, I would say I love that, but I don't love that Colorado is suffering from a devastating wildfire, but I love that California has come out to show their support and to help you guys get it under control. That's very inspiring. So Megan, you host the Middle podcast. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start the podcast. How'd you get started?
Yeah, so we started about a year ago. I think our first episode was like August 1st, 2025. So we're about a year in. I really started it because I worked in tech. I worked in aerospace for about 17 years. I did communications and PR, and I got laid off in mid-June of last year and had always wanted to start a podcast. I had, probably 18 ideas for podcasts bouncing around my head at any given point and always had excuses for it. I need more money. I need more time. I need this. I need that. When I got laid off, all of those excuses kind of went away. And I thought, well, I have plenty of time now. I'm really not doing anything. And I have a little bit of knowledge on maybe how I can just get it up and running. So we actually started the Middle in the first season, talking to less sports oriented and more talking to folks that had just been through a really unique time or a middle in their lives. So we did talk to athletes, and I'll get to that in a minute, but we talked to folks that had been laid off, had been fired, had been in the C-suite and quit their jobs. We just really talked to a gamut of people. And through that, I started talking to some athletes, some Olympians. Again, I live in Colorado, so we are very fortunate enough to have a lot of Olympians just kind of walking our streets here. And our very last episode in season 1 was an Olympian who is an alpine skier, but his name is Shannon. And he was gearing up to go to the Italy Games this past winter. And it was his 3rd Olympic Games. But he was talking about how when he was trying to qualify for the Sochi Games in 2014, he was going around, he did slalom. So if folks don't know, that's where you go around with the gate. And he was competing in his very last race. It was the very last race he could do to qualify for the games. It was a couple weeks out before the Sochi Games started. And he crossed the finish line and he looked up the score and he missed qualifying by 0.01 seconds.
Oh,
And
painful.
He knew exactly where on a turn, if he had just bent his right knee a little more, he probably would have caught that speed and would have made it in. And we talked about, how he beat himself up for like 2 years. And it was just how, his dreams, he'd been doing this since he was 3 years old. But it got me thinking of we really wanted to go looking for the underdog stories. Like, who are the folks out there that have those stories that have really persevered? And yes, it's great to hear about Tom Brady and it's great to hear about Aaron Judge, but there are so many stories out there that you don't get that Sports Center level of attention on. So that was really my goal. I wanted to pivot the podcast and talk more to those folks and those coaches and those insiders and those athletes who have those stories and have that angle and just kind of don't get that attention. So that's what we pivoted to in season 2. And that's what so like I said, we bring on athletes and coaches and we bring on CEOs of tech companies that are trying to improve the fan experience for disabled fans or disabled athletes, and really just wanting to put those stories out there. So that's how it got started.
Absolutely. And those are always the stories as a fan. Those are always the stories that I feel like I connect with a lot more. It's so easy to be a fan of someone who came in and then was just kind of catapulted to superstardom. But I have always resonated with the stories of players who have had to grind a little bit more. And that's why I love Ryan O'Hearn so much. Tampa Bay Rays have a pitcher who used to be on the Orioles named Brian Baker. He has a very similar story. That's why I love him so much. And just those stories just really feel more human. I feel like a lot of times when we're looking at these big star players, it's so difficult to see them as human beings because it seems like they're so superhuman. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I love what you guys do so much, is because it really breaks it down to more of a human element. And I feel like that's, really aligned with what we're trying to do here. So yeah, I've always really loved that. So you were gracious enough to have us on earlier this season. So I kind of wanted to expand expand on the conversation that we were having. So I'm actually opening the floor up to everybody. How well do you think that this season matches up with your expectations? And Megan, I do want to start with you since you're our guest.
So I don't know if there's a number that I can assign, but like what my observations halfway through are, I feel like the top of the league, I'm going to say it has been kind of boring. Like what I thought would happen. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball. Like, are we surprised? Ohtani is being Ohtani. Are we surprised? Like those marquee things are happening. And so, like, maybe I can pat myself on the back and everyone else can who predicted that of like, yay, we know baseball, we predicted it. But to me, it's kind of been a little boring. So I think the more underlying parts has been utter chaos. I mean, like, let's look at the
100%.
American League. Yeah, like, let's look at the American League right now and just like the absolute chaos that's in there. You can look at the National Central League where everyone's above 500. Like, so that I feel like in that aspects, I've been wildly wrong on everything. So, you know, maybe in broad strokes, like, yes, I always thought there would be a team that did really bad last year and it's great this year and vice versa. And unfortunately, the vice versa part of that is my team, the Detroit Tigers. But
Of course.
but also if you follow Detroit, that's actually pretty par for the course. So yeah, I feel like, you know, again, that probably my TLDR is I think that marquee stuff, that top of the stuff, I'm not surprised in any way but I am surprised at the utter amount of chaos of everything below that.
Yeah, for sure. Hallie, Melissa, what you got?
Well,
You know, go ahead,
everything
Hallie.
is going better than I thought it would. So
Is the Bay Ray fan yet? What?
we're gonna talk about this later, but one of the hopes from the beginning of the season is that the Rays would do well, and they're doing really well. So-
Insane.
They are.
And watching a team that was just medium good last year be really good this year, like actually good this year, is just such a treat.
For sure. Absolutely. And it's fun to see a team that likes playing together as a unit. And I think we've discussed this before. They really are running on not only just exceptional talent, but also the power of friendship. So love to see it. Melissa, what you
Here's-
got?
I think if I had to put a number on it, I would go right down the line and say a 5. Obviously, as a Baltimore fan, this is not what I expected this season at all. The inconsistency is very frustrating because we'll have a good streak and you think that we're coming through it, and then like we'll beat the Dodgers, and then we'll go into our next series and play the Angels, who we almost get swept. We lost to them. So I would love to see some consistency. I will say it took a little while, but I feel like Pete is doing exactly what we thought he was going to do.
He needed a little bit of time to preheat.
Yes, he really did. But I think Pete Alonso has been an amazing addition to our team, and that was to be expected. It just took a little longer for him to get there than we thought. I think there are some players who have been a little bit of a disappointment. There are some players that have been a really nice surprise. I have really enjoyed having Taylor Ward and Blaze Alexander on our team this year. I think they were great additions to this team. I think you did something right there, Mike Elias. I am super excited Adley made it to the All-Star game.
Of course.
That brings me joy. I will say Adley's having an amazing season.
For sure.
And as far as other teams go, I agree with Megan. Like, it's been very predictable with the Dodgers being at the top and the Yankees close to the top. And I am very excited for you guys with Tampa Bay. I really hope if a team from the AL East goes, and it's not Baltimore, which at this point it's not looking like it's going to be Baltimore, then I hope it's Tampa Bay for you guys so that I can watch from the sidelines. You guys have fun at the games and cheering them on. I will say the central region has been very surprising this year too, and I am enjoying watching some of them.
The NL Central, I'm sorry, the NL Central is really chapping my ass because what do you mean the Pittsburgh Pirates had the most like historic spending in their off season and they're still above 500. Everybody else in the NL Central was supposed to be in a freaking rebuild, and yet here we are, everybody's above 500. Like, what are you talking about?
They're not, as of today. I will say, I checked right before we hopped on. Cincinnati, we knocked Cincinnati out of there. Yeah. But
thanks, Orioles.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I just had an evil, intrusive thought. What if the Marlins somehow wild card into the World Series too?
Stranger things have happened.
Imagine a Florida versus Florida World Series.
That would be very
That would be
cinematic.
cool.
That would be, I think, like the forces of evil would be
Flo-
combining.
Florida man would not know what to do.
Absolutely not.
For sure.
Oh my God, I love it. All right. So just blanket question. What has been your favorite moment from the 2026 season? It doesn't necessarily have to be like a specific run or a specific win. It can be anything. What's been your favorite moment?
I've been keeping a list.
Ooh,
Yeah, I have.
let's have it.
Colton's first walk-off win against Detroit. Sorry, it was Detroit. Actually, I
So
did
glad
not
you
even
said
think
that.
about that, but it was Detroit.
My
I'm so
worst
glad you
moment
said that.
is
Sorry, I didn't even think about that, but that because I was there and that was an amazing game. I was sitting one section over from where the ball landed. And I think one of my other favorite ones was the Arizona game where we had a comeback in the 6th inning and Jeremiah Jackson got the grand slam. Yes. And then Pete got us. Pete hit the home run to the polar bear.
Yes.
Or Mr. Splash.
In the
passed to
splash
polar
zone.
bear. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's also when Albie caught the ball to the face. That game was
Yeah.
very,
A lot of stuff happened.
a lot happened in that game. So
I gotta say, as far as the Orioles go, any time that Pete Alonso has stolen a base this season has made me unreasonably happy. Every time I see him steal a base, I'm tweeting known base stealer Pete Alonso because I think it's so funny.
it's funny because Pete's not fast. Pete's there as a
No.
power hitter. He is not fast. So when he steals a base, it's like, way to go, big guy.
I also love watching
you.
him round third. If he's coming from second, if he's rounding third and he's being waved home, I love watching how hard he's running because there's no one in Major League Baseball who is running harder than Pete Alonso.
Yes.
I love you.
And then it's fun to watch him like try and catch his breath in the dugout.
I have to say I
It's
didn't pay
always
attention to him. Usually that comment of mine is reserved for like Freddie Freeman because that man like trots around the bases even though he's trying. But I saw him a couple games ago and I was like, yeah, him and Freddie would not be good in a sprint.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you got Corbin Carroll, who I believe is the triple leader for the season. He's like, you blink and he's at third base. My God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
got
loving
to
that he's
touch
having
a ray
good
at Tropicana Field, and that's my
It's
high point
true.
of this season.
Oh, speaking of the Rays, another one when the Rays went to Baltimore and it was Cedric Mullins' first game back at Camden Yards. I might
Yeah.
cry talking about this, but they put together like a whole like video montage of like all of his special moments. And it was
Yeah.
like, welcome back. And then the crowd like went insane about him. Oh, it was so good.
Yes. Yeah. I would have liked to have been there for that one. I would have liked to have been there for McCann's too. I
Yeah.
missed that one. I really wanted to be there for McCann's.
I think mine is one is Dirt Cam because I will prove that I am not a total Yankees
Yes.
hater, but I thought Dirt Cam was hysterical. And
Absolutely.
it's great. And if you don't know what Dirt Cam is, like go Google it and go watch. But I stand with Dirt Cam on that one. And then I was lucky enough to be at the Rockies game where Rockies pitcher Kyle Freeland became the all-time leader in innings pitched for the club. So they had just a nice little, I don't think the Rockies get a ton of. They're a newer club, first off, but there's not a lot of records there, and there's not a lot of ton of folks that hit that point. So it was just really nice to see him honored and see him, the crowd kind of stand up for him and cheer. That was just a fun little. It's always fun to see them recognized for those accolades. A lot of the guys don't have them in the back of their minds. Maybe they do, but yeah, it was fun to watch that.
For sure. Okay. Last thing before we move on. Which teams do you think are likely to contend for this World Series?
Dodgers.
The Dodgers, like
Yeah,
the Dodgers are gonna play the Dodgers in the World Series, and then the Dodgers
eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
As far as the National League, who do you think is going to give them a run for their money?
Brewers, maybe.
I was also thinking the Brewers.
I was gonna say Brewers or Phillies.
Yeah,
I
Phillies.
think the Phillies are starting to heat up. Yeah.
That's kind of like one per division. So I like
Yeah.
that. I'm not mad at it.
Well, I will say, so I've had a theory since the start of the season for my Tigers, because for those that don't follow the Tigers, so last year the Tigers were like beautiful up until the All-Star break and all of the talk, and then just completely tanked in the second half of the season. So my theory has been since the end of last season that we're going to do the opposite this year. We are going to tank in the first half of the season and we're going to climb on the second half. And I don't think that is out of the realm of possibility. We had a shit May and, you know, Scooble is doing Scooble things for good and bad. Still, I'm not convinced that still isn't that's no longer a possibility. So I do think the Tigers could be a literal wild card, make it to the World Series. I would love for that to happen as well. So that's maybe my biased, but also like complete chaotic prediction. And as long as the Yankees don't go, I'm fine.
Amen, sister. I don't want the Yankees to go. I don't want to see a Dodgers-Yankee series. I won't watch that. It's boring to me.
No,
I don't want to see that.
Same.
I have a better thought now about the World Series. I would really love it to be two teams that haven't been to the series in a long time.
Yes,
like
or ever.
Ever. Just
Yeah.
from a TV storytelling direction.
Yes.
And I think that was one of my biggest disappointments during the World Series last year is the storytelling of Blue Jays doing so well and then them not winning. That was really sad to me. I just wanted the better storytelling to win, and unfortunately that's not how sports work.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a Dodgers hater. I'm fine with the Dodgers. What I'm not fine with is you're just winning and you're not giving other teams a chance to win.
Well, and it's like with all, like, obviously I pay a lot of attention to the Scooble trade talk right now because there's this whole debate on whether or not, and the reality is, I think, that if any teams are going to pick them up, it's going to be the Yankees or the Dodgers, purely become a pure financial reason. And what I hate about it is a large chunk of why people think the Yankees or the Dodgers will get Scooble is just because they can, because they have the money and they can do it. And I'm like, I don't like that story. I don't like that. Yeah. The Dodgers don't need Scooble. The Yankees don't need Scooble. Like, I'd rather him go to the Brewers or something where maybe there's just a better story there. So I think same to you, Hallie, of like, it's just not, I want a better storyline. I want the underdogs. I want the folks that you just didn't see coming. I mean, we can even say the White Sox, like maybe that, you don't see them coming from the last season. So
imagine he does go to the Dodgers or the Yankees. He's not going to be a superstar on either of those.
No.
Teams. They're already too stacked.
Go be a big fish in a small pond.
I wouldn't, if it were me, I wouldn't want to go to one of those teams because then, like, my achievements are going to have to be compared to other people's.
You're going to be Scooble behind Ohtani. And like, what's that going to get you? Where is that going to get you?
Be the guy that goes and helps turn a team that's mediocre into a great team.
100%. Yes. To your point, I think you're absolutely right. Why would you want to go and play second fiddle to Shohei Ohtani? Anyone who is going to the Dodgers is playing second fiddle to Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. And that's just the reality of playing on a team with the greatest baseball player of our generation. So
Scooble, if you're listening, stop all the fix it or trade me talks and just stay with Detroit. I know.
Hope you're listening, Scooble.
Hopefully some good can come of this. All right. So Megan, thank you so much for letting us dig into your brain a little bit. Hallie's going to do a little bit more digging as we hit you with some rapid fire questions so that the Glovelies can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Take it away, Hallie.
What is your favorite sport?
To watch. I am a football and baseball girl. Like I live for football and baseball at all levels. To play, I got to back you up. I'm a tennis gal myself. Like, it is a blast. I have not gotten into pickleball, which I probably should.
My fear is if I tried to pickleball, it would just make me mad because it's not tennis.
Yeah, I could see that.
And which is your favorite sports team? You can do football and baseball because they're your favorites.
I mean, I'm a Detroit girl. I grew up in Michigan, like that. So I would say, blanket all sports team or Detroit sports teams. But yeah, I mean, I'm a Tigers gal. I'm a Lions gal.
Do you have a favorite currently active athlete?
I love Kevin McGonigal. We talked about him when you guys came on the middle. Like, I love everything about him. He's obviously an exceptionally talented player. I just love him. I think he's brought a lot of unity to Detroit. You got the McGonagoggles with that one little girl fan. So, and he's just fun to watch. He's fun to watch play. He's fun to watch hit. I always enjoy when I know like McGonagall's coming up.
Nice. Do you have a favorite athlete of all time?
I don't know if I have a favorite athlete of all time, but the first athlete that popped into my head was when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. The Detroit Red Wings, the hockey team, had a pretty good Stanley Cup run for a couple years in a row. And my dad tells me all the time, like, I was obsessed with the goalies. It was like Chris Osborne and like Mike Shanahan. Like, I was just obsessed with the goalies. And apparently, I don't remember any of this, but my dad like loves to remind me occasionally. One June or July after the Stanley Cup series was over, I found out that Detroit had traded. I think it might have been Shanahan or Osborne, one of the two. And apparently, like, I didn't talk to anyone for like 3 days because I was so mad that they traded the goal. I don't remember any of this, but it is like my first first memory of like being really attached to a certain player and really like obsessed with a certain player. So that was the first one that came to mind when you asked that.
Oh, first heartbreak.
It was my first heartbreak.
How do you take your coffee?
I take it with a little bit of cream, but no sugar.
Do you have a favorite movie?
I will always pause and watch if either Steel Magnolias or A League of Their Own are on. Like those movies come up and I'm like, I'm done for the next however much time is left. Those are my two go-tos.
Drink your juice, Shelby.
Blush and bashful.
You have the handwriting of a serial killer. Like,
do you have a hidden talent?
I don't know. I feel like my kids would say that I can see out of the back of my head.
Excellent. Mom sense.
Yeah, it's the mom spidey sense.
Do you have a favorite ballpark snack?
I am a classic hot dog.
Excellent. Is your top game day essential?
I mean, in this day and age, I hate to say it, it's probably my phone.
Mhm.
But living in Colorado, it is also sunscreen.
Excellent. I think, two most important things. If you played baseball, what would your walk-up song be?
Oh, I think I would probably it's probably a little cheesy. I think some guys have it, but Enter Sandman.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And do you have a favorite sports memory?
So as much of a Detroit sports fan as I am, I've actually never been to a Lions or Red Wings game, but I've been to a lot of Tigers games. So my dad would take me. My dad's a big baseball fan. He's played baseball his whole life. And so when it was still Tiger Stadium before Comerica Park came around, he and I would go to games on Sundays. And, we lived like an hour and a half away. So we would have to drive in the car. And my dad's a little frugal. So we would have to park in like this church parking lot, like 18 blocks away. And because it was like free or like $5. And, we would just kind of walk down and watch the game. And, Tiger Stadium was old for the like folks that don't know. And so a lot of times we're stuck in a seat that kind of had a partial view with a pillar in front of you. But yeah, I just had a lot of memories of like going to games with my dad and with my family. And I think that's probably where I did fall in love with sports originally. Was like, to me, sports is family. To me, it's what I connect it with more than anything else. So yeah, probably going to those games with my dad.
Excellent.
Okay.
All of us have really lovely memories of going to sports with our dads too.
It's a dad thing.
True.
It really is.
I love it. All right. Well, Megan, thanks for letting us break out the shovels and do a little bit more digging. But we are going to dive right into our top 5 of the week. And I hesitate to call it a top 5 because instead of doing a top 5, we're going to do some more mid-season picks. First category that we are going to hit. I would like to know who or what has been your biggest surprise of the season. Megan, we'll start with you.
I'm going to say the White Sox turnaround. Like,
okay.
I figured there would be a team that did bad last year and turn it around this year, but I did not have the White Sox pegged. And hopefully they keep it up. Knock on wood. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Got half a season left, but yeah.
Love it. Love it. Melissa, what about you?
Mine was also the White Sox. I cannot believe they're at the top of the AL Central. Like, how did you go from being one of the worst teams to now you're at the top? Good for you, though. We all know I love an underdog, so keep it up.
Absolutely. Hallie, what you got?
My biggest surprise is that the Twins are not dead last. And please don't embarrass me and become dead last.
You never know. Stranger things have happened.
I mean, it happened last year.
It's true.
Well, they weren't dead last. They were, I think, like 4th. But like, stay medium bad for me, please. That's all I. Just stay medium bad. Just maintain 3rd in your division, and I'll be.
There you go.
satisfied.
I mentioned this earlier, but my biggest surprise has definitely been the competitiveness of the NL Central. It blows my mind that the least competitive division is suddenly the most talked about in baseball. One thing I will say is that it is making every Pirates game very exciting because every Pirates game that I watch, it's a lot more high stakes. That's got to be mine. Okay, so let's move ahead to Midway World Series predictions. We talked a little bit about the teams that we think might get there. Who are your two teams? AL, NL. Who do we got? Megan?
I mean, I think it's going to be the Dodgers. I'm going to be floored. We should have another episode if they do not make it for whatever reason. Maybe the White Sox.
Ooh.
Okay.
Could be. That could be a good one. I think to your point, like the American League is so up in the air right now. Like I said, it could be the Tigers. It's a long shot, but I don't think any of the teams are completely out of it yet. Like there is still a couple months left to play. So I mean, if I'm playing it safe, if I'm a betting woman, like yeah, the Dodgers got a bet all the way. But I think the White Sox. I'll go with the White Sox. That's gonna be my thing. And the Tigers.
Okay. Love it. Melissa, what you got?
For National League, I agree that it will probably be the Dodgers. However, I would be very happy if it were the Brewers. And then if it can't be the Brewers, then Philly. So that's my rank there. And then for American League, I hope it's Tampa Bay, guys. I do. It just better not be the damn Yankees.
Amen.
Hallie, what you got?
Well, I would like to take this opportunity to remind the Glovelies that preseason I said I want the Rays to go to the World Series. And here they are, like very possible contenders to be in the World Series. And I would like anyone from the National League Central Division to make it to the World Series. As a good God-fearing Midwestern girl, I would love to see a good God-fearing Midwestern team in there. Courtney, why are you freaking out?
Ryan O'Hearn hit another home run.
Jesus, fuck.
Yeah, he's got 10. He's got 10 RBIs tonight.
10 RBIs.
Jesus.
With a grand slam and a pair of 3-run home runs, Ryan O'Hearn becomes the first player in Pirates history to record 10 RBIs in one game.
Nice.
So
Ryan.
home run derby. I hear there might be some spots opening up.
Yeah.
Could be a really fun
Agreed.
opportunity. This is the
Nothing
best
like
news
this.
you've heard in months.
Nothing like this happens when I'm watching. Insane day.
Who's
Sorry
your first
to have
movie?
completely derailed that. Anyway, for me personally, I would love to see the Rays go all the way. I would absolutely love it. If not the Rays, however, I would love to see my Pookie, Brian Wu, and the Mariners go all the way. As far as the National League goes, I think it's going to be either the Dodgers or the Brewers, probably more realistically the Dodgers. But what would I like to see? I would like to see the Brewers take it. Personally, I'd like to see the Pirates take it. Do I think it's going to happen? You never know. I don't know. It's really, at this point, it really truly is a toss-up. The Dodgers are going to make the playoffs. And at this point, it's just a race to see if anyone can beat the Dodgers to the series. So moving on, let's talk about Cy Young. What are your picks for AL? What are your picks for NL? Cy Young. Megan, what you got?
I am going to go with Drew Rasmussen for the Rays. I think he had a fantastic June, and I think others are starting to fall a little. So yeah, I'm going to go with Rasmussen and especially a little bit of a caveat, as long as Tampa Bay continues to do as well as they're doing. Yeah, I think he's going to have the narrative. He's going to have the stats. He's going to be a solid pick. For the National League, I'm going to go Mizorowski. Kind of to me, it's kind of, he's like the Dodgers of the overall. I think he's just going to be a shoo-in, which good for him. Like he's earned it. So yeah, that'll be mine.
Melissa, what you got?
Yeah, so I was going to say I went with Mizorowski for the National League as well. For the American League, when I did a little Google with my Google fingers, Brian Baker was towards the top of the list. So I would like to see Brian Baker get it. Have our former Oriole and your Tampa Bay Ray take that award. Thank you.
I would love to see Brian Baker win a Cy Young. That would make me so happy.
Oh, yeah. It would make me very happy too. Very happy.
I would love that. That would be amazing. Hallie, who you got?
So I would like Brian Wu, the sexiest pitcher in the MLB, to win. He's the only name I came up with, and I want him to win simply because I think he's the hottest pitcher in Major League Baseball. Yeah,
I agree.
I don't have an NL National
That's
League.
okay.
I don't have one.
I would also love to see Brian Wu. win the AL Cy Young. He was actually my AL pick. Possibly also Logan Gilbert. The Mariners pitching staff is really stacked this season, but I don't think Drew Rasmussen is completely out of the question. And again, I would love to see Brian Baker take it potentially. But for me, my pick was Brian Wu, possibly Logan Gilbert. Honestly, though, with the Orioles pitching staff, because they're the ones that I watch most often, Brandon Young is still having a great season.
Yeah, he is.
So
That would be nice.
it would be amazing to see a Brandon Young conversation. As far as the NL is concerned, I do think it's probably going to be Jacob Mizorowski. I, however, as a Pirates fan, would love to see a more serious Braxton Ashcraft conversation. Paul Skeens was selected for the All-Star game. He actually did say that he's going to attend, but he is not going to play. And they just announced today that Braxton Ashcraft is going to be taking his place, which I think all in all, Pirates fans would agree that is the correct choice. So I would love to see a more serious Braxton Ashcraft conversation. I do think it's probably going to be Jacob Mizorowski. Does that, grind my gears a little bit? Yes, because he's 13 years old, but it is what it is. He can throw like nobody else in the league right now. The other person that I think it would be really interesting if we saw them win a Cy Young, Mason Miller. There's all the chance in the world that he could win a Cy Young. So Mason Miller, throwing it out there.
Put the good vibes out.
Last but not least, MVP, American League, National League. Megan, what you got?
So for MVP, I'm going to go with Bobby Witt Jr. on the Royals. And because I think he is one of those arguments where it's good player on a bad team, or at least a bad team for this year, but he leads in certain areas. I think he's got everything there. It's just really like, are voters going to reward the best player or the best player on a good team?
Right.
So I think I'm going to go with Bobby Witt Jr.
And National League?
Oh, National League. I mean, I think the reality is it's going to be Ohtani, but if I can alter reality and Doctor Strange it, I'm going to go Pete Crow Armstrong on the Cubs. Because I think he's really, to me, he's really the only name that has any traction behind it. I think his case has gotten a lot stronger over the last 30-ish games. He does elite defense. He's got good base running. So I think if we ever get tired of giving it to a pitcher hitter combo and want more of a traditional MVP story, I think he's a good candidate.
Absolutely. Melissa, what you got?
I went with players who are towards the top of the list that are on the more popular teams, because that's what history tends to favor, the more popular team. So I went with Ben Rice and Shohei. However, I would like to see Schwarber and Bobby Witt Jr. I swear I wasn't copying your homework.
That is A-okay. Hallie, what you got?
So I'm not really paying attention to who's doing a good job and who's not doing a good job and who's the best and who has a lot of buzz around them because they're doing really well, because I do pick everything on vibes and what I like to see. What I like to see is Stephen Kwan.
Okay.
And
for the National League?
Are we leaving it at that?
I'm just leaving it at
Bye. She's like, I'm leaving it at that. Bye.
There's one MVP for the whole 2026
Mic
season,
drop.
and it's Stephen Kwan.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
MVP of my heart.
MVP of your heart. Okay. For me, I also think Bobby Witt Jr. is a fantastic candidate. I also said Ben Rice is a great candidate. I think personally for me, I know Yordan Alvarez is the favorite currently. For me, someone who is playing the game just as a DH is not playing as hard as someone who is playing both offense and defense. That's me personally. That is not to, disparage anything that Yordan Alvarez has accomplished this season, because he is having a great year. In my opinion, I don't think it should go to just someone who's playing just as a DH, because they're not expanding their skill set as much as another player, and another player who's playing defense and also hitting at a high level, to me, is more valuable. That's my 2 cents for the National League. I would love to see it go to Kyle Schwarber, who's having another great year. More realistically, I do think it's going to go to Shohei Ohtani. However, I do think Kyle Schwarber, again, is a great candidate. That's just me.
I do an honorable mention.
Sure.
We didn't cover this category, but I just want to say Samuel Basallo, Rookie of the Year. That's what I want to say.
Okay. I would say Samuel Basayo or probably Kevin McGonigal.
Or Connor Griffin. I would be okay with Connor Griffin too.
Well, I was going to say Connor Griffin could be NL Rookie of the Year.
Yes. Yeah.
And McGonigal and Basayo would both be from the AL. So
yeah.
I definitely think any of those are possible. I don't think that's crazy at all. All right, Lovelies, what did you think of our picks? How are you feeling about this season? How are you feeling about the predictions for Cy Young? Who do you think is going to win the MVP? Who's been your biggest surprise and who's been your biggest letdown? Let us know in the comments and let us know who you want to see in the World Series this year. All right, Lovelies, before we wrap things up, as always, we are going to leave you with some recommended media for this week, brought to you by our very own No Regrets reader. Take it away, Melissa.
All right, going into All-Star break, let's talk about a comedy baseball classic from the early 2000s, Summer Catch, packed with early millennial stars like Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, Mark Lucas, Jessica Biel, and Brittany Murphy. R.I.P. Brittany. This movie is about making it big, living your dreams, and summer love. Ryan Dunn lives on Cape Cod working for his dad with his landscaping business when his summer of opportunity arises playing for the Cape Cod Baseball League with the Chatham A's. Dying to become a big league pitcher, Ryan swears off booze and girls for the summer to avoid distractions while achieving his dream. That plan is quickly crushed when he falls for a summer girl, Tenley Parrish. The summer is filled with baseball, teammate shenanigans, and dating Tenley, but chaos ensues just before the last game of the summer when it's revealed that Tenley has a preppy ex-boyfriend waiting in the wings, and Ryan's pitching starts to take a dive. Things only get worse when he gets shifted to the back of the bullpen, and Tenley's father threatens Ryan's landscaping business if he doesn't break it off with Tenley. Can Ryan get his big break? Does he get the girl? I'm not spoiling it for you. Watch it and find out. Complete with an appearance by Ken Griffey Jr., this is a classic baseball movie everyone should add to their annual watch list. And if you don't believe me, I've heard several players reference this as a movie that they like to watch, including Pete Alonso, who has mentioned it as a point of reference for How I Met My Wife story. So things I love about this movie. This is a reminder of how hot and goofy guys were at the turn of the century. Back in the 90s episode, when I talked about missing guys, how they dressed, and that clean-cut look that was happening in the 90s, this is what I'm talking about. This movie is a great reminder of why everyone loved Freddie Prinze Jr. back in the day. And we all know Courtney loves Matthew Lillard.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And this film also makes me wonder why Mark Lucas didn't make it further in Hollywood. I guess because he edged out Angel and Buffy for a whole season. I don't know. But anyways, the only thing I don't miss, this movie reminded me of that, is frosted tips and bleached hair.
Oh, frosted tips are coming back, especially for like preteen boys right now.
Yeah.
God, no. End it. It does not need to come back. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Beverly D'Angelo, who has a cameo as the hot cougar that houses ball players in an attempt to seduce them. I respect your game, madam.
Very Bull Durham of you.
It is. Anyway, hot actors aside, if you want a movie that's overcoming circumstances, fighting for your dreams, and opposites attract love story, I recommend you check Summer Catch out.
Yeah, I do love Matthew Lillard. There's very few things that I would not do for Matthew Lillard.
It cracked me up too. I meant to look. I'm pretty sure they did Scooby-Doo after this one too. Because I was like,
yes.
Oh, look. I was like, look at them together. Pre-Scooby-Doo. Then you get a bunch of people who are like tied to Buffy the Vampire Slayer in this movie too. So it kind of cracked me up.
100%. Also, the live action Scooby-Doo movies are perfect.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
anyone who disagrees can fight me.
Yeah. No.
They have bad taste as well.
Exactly.
How can you not love Scooby-Doo?
Okay, so Melissa, if our lovelies would like to talk to you about this recommendation or make recommendations of their own, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram or Facebook at no_regrets_reader. Give me the baseball movies for the All-Star break.
Perfect. All right. Well, Glovelies, I would love to take a moment to shout out the amazing Megan Ranville of The Middle Podcast for joining us today. Megan, where can our listeners find you if they want to follow more of your content?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. You can find The Middle wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, all the above. And you can find us on Instagram at The Middle Pod, YouTube at The Middle Pod. We're on Threads, and we're on LinkedIn, although we are not very active on LinkedIn. So if you follow us there, you're not going to get any spicy takes, but you will know when episodes drop. I'd say Instagram is probably our biggest platform that we're on right now.
Perfect. All right. Well, we appreciate you being here. We have finally fulfilled the prophecy that we
I love
foretold. when we were on your podcast.
It's been great. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for coming on ours. I love everything you guys do here at Glove. Actually, I still maintain this is the best named podcast I have ever come across in my history of listening and all of that. So you guys are awesome. Keep rocking it. I'm so glad. Let's do it again.
Oh my God. Yes. You are welcome back anytime. And especially if the Dodgers don't make it to the World Series, you're absolutely coming back.
If the Tigers make it anywhere past like I have to come back on.
100%. Yes. 100%. All right, Glovelies. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Glove. Actually, once again, I would love to thank Megan for joining us and thank you all for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to the Glove Actually podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to turn on those post notifications to stay in the loop when we post new episodes every Wednesday. All right, ladies, what are we looking forward to most this week in the world of baseball? Who do you hope has fun this week? Megan?
I'm going to be really like Mama Bear. I hope everyone has fun at the All-Star game. I hope everyone just has fun at the Home Run Derby. Like, especially the folks it's their first time, like just go out there. This is your moment. Have fun. So I'm not calling out any one specific person. And I hope everyone who didn't make it, it is your consolation is you get a little bit of time off, relax, enjoy, get ready for the next half.
True. I love it. Melissa, who do you hope has fun this week?
I was doing some thinking on this. You know who I want to have fun this week and rest up? Mustard. When you lose, we do not win. So rest up and get ready to race for the second half of the season so we can have a really good record. Thank you.
Yes. I know Genevieve is like all in on Mustard.
Yes.
So
yes, she is.
Mustard, you got to rest up for our good friend Genevieve Albertaz, okay?
Amen.
I love it. Hallie, who do you hope has fun this week?
So I will be attending the Carnegie Vanderbilt Cup this weekend, and I hope all the polo horses have fun this week.
Period. Bougie as hell. I love it. Well, as we mentioned, this is going to be airing right after the All-Star game, but I hope all of our first-time All-Stars have fun this week. Soak in every moment of that really special opportunity, especially for Orioles legend Brian Baker. I am so happy that you are getting to go to your first All-Star game, baby. So
yeah.
I hope you have fun this week. And everybody who is attending the All-Star game, I'm jealous of you and I hope you have fun too. All right. Well, this has been Glove Actually. I'm Courtney.
I'm Hallie.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Melissa.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great All-Star week, Glovelies. And as always, be kind, keep it cute, and stay glovely.
Lovely.